man, look, we haven't done a Reese Lightning conversation in a while, and I think this one is really important, and it's good to get an update. But because it's Reese Lightning, you know what we got to turn on. Reese Lightning! All right, yo, look, man. So, the quick update, if you guys don't know, we got training camp coming up in the NFL. It comes up at the end of July. I believe it's July 18th or so that Kansas City Chiefs go into training camp. And obviously, we're going to cover it because people really, really like to talk about Rees-Zammit and his journey that's going through this and being able to see what is going to work well within this factor. But in the meantime, though, what we've heard from him over the course of the camp is that, in OTAs, people really, really like him. They say that he's willing to do whatever. He looks like he's always constantly ready to learn, and he's getting ready. But again, we can't say too much because now between now and training camp, again, it's just going to be a lot of what we're repeating over and over. But come training camp, that's whenever it's going to get serious, between that training camp and August, and he's going to get at least two, at most, maybe two preseason games to find out what he can really do. Plus, I guess what they do in the middle of camp as well. But this story isn't totally about Rees-Zammit, all right? This is much more about what the inspiration and the way that's going on, where we are having a lot of players that are in rugby trying to make their transfer in. Now, it didn't start with Rees-Zammit. Obviously, Rees is one in a line of rugby players that have tried to make their way into the National Football League. I think what makes this one different is that we're taking players that are not only in rugby union, but that are at the peak of their rugby union place. So obviously, I think most famous, not rugby union, but rugby leaguer, is Jared Haynes, who played for the San Francisco 49ers for a little bit, and he kind of had a little bit of a run, but was ultimately cut. And obviously, he's a rapist POS, so nobody really cares about him at this point. But we also had people like Christian Wade, who wasn't a top rugby player. He was a top high school rugby player, but at the international level was not like renowned. At the club level was not renowned. But he had a lot of potential, great highlights on YouTube, et cetera, like that. We saw what he did with the Buffalo Bills. I think right now the one that shows as the most prominent is Jordan Matina with the Philadelphia Eagles at lineman. Obviously, he's a rugby league guy, but he's been able to translate very, very well and being able to make an impact for the Eagles themselves. It's notable to look at those, but with Rees-Zammit is 23 years old, literally increasing into the prime of his rugby career, deciding to step aside and go ahead and make his run at the NFL, and do it at the peak of his powers. That is not where it typically is done. You either a little bit before and you haven't really quite made the name in rugby, or you're after, and it's not quite the same impact. But it looks like, again, like I said, Rees-Zammit seems to be impacting some other people along with it. And this one goes in the form of Jordan Petaia over in Australia, another guy who is reaching the peaks of powers at this moment. He is also 23 years old. He has been playing rugby for the better part, not playing rugby, but playing professionally for the better part of the last 6 years already. He's not a scrub by any chance. Quick run back. He is a Wallabies player. He played in the last Rugby World Cup, got a couple tries off of himself. He has been playing in Super Rugby since 2018. He basically came out of high school and jumped right onto a team. I'm sorry, he's 24 years old. He has had a few injuries, but ultimately he has been a pretty proficient player overall. But it looks like he wants to go. Like, let's take a look at a couple of his highlights before we kind of go talk into the next part of this, because from what you can see, dude is nimble. He is a nimble freaking guy. All right, and for those of you that
on the fly by Camden,
this,
gives it early to Petaia.
Again,
Petaia launches over one, bounces over another,
good bounce, good,
and gets met by Wilkin. He's been busy.
Sami in at first receiver, and they have the penalty advantage. Here he is again. Out the back to O'Connor. First touch, long floating pass out to Petaia. Petaia, inside ball to O'Connor. By Adelaide, we're told. Petaia sets sail across field.
Able to get across the field. It looks like he has good awareness. His eyes up front.
And that's been intercepted. Rodder just tried to volleyball that one to his support player, but Jordan Petaia read it well. Stewart around the back play to O'Connor. Petaia running a lovely line. Here's Campbell with a clean pair of heels. The Reds are in again.
A solid player. Like I said, a very solid player. And it's interesting to be able to see like what it can do. And this is one part that I'm a bit curious to think about when it comes to players like this. So as I was watching him, like I said, I think he looks like he's an athletic guy. He's quick. He's got solid footwork, solid balance. But I do now start to wonder whether he would be able to make even an impact on offense. Like, I watch him, and without really knowing what his size is completely, he doesn't look like he's the biggest guy. Again, like, one of the advantages with Rees-Zammit is the fact that the guy is 6'3", 200 pounds. Like, he's a late, but he's a big dude. Like, he is a legit big guy. Like, okay. It says that Jordan Petaia is 1.9 meters. I have no idea what that means in feet. So okay, he's 6'2". Okay, he's also a big guy as well too. All right. So okay, never mind. I take that back. So he's a big guy. But even still, he's a slender guy, obviously needs to learning the position. But I do wonder if there's a chance that they move some of these guys and find them back in defense. Because there's like, I get it for Rees-Zammit, put him at running back, put him at wide receiver, use his hands. But for something like Jordan Petaia, I would love to see him get work at safety, get work at cornerback. Now, cornerback would be particularly difficult because of the fact that you need really specialized footwork to be able to do backpedaling and shifting your hips and rotating your hips in time with the play so you don't get burnt. And of course, the knowledge of being able to have kind of a 180 awareness of your surroundings so that you can be on the jump on these balls. But I'd love to see a person like Jordan Petaia get work at safety, where I think he would be able to make a bigger impact, because I look at him and I don't see a wide receiver. I don't see a running back out of him. And he's too small to be a tight end. Maybe, if he was maybe 220 pounds, 230 pounds, maybe. But I would love to see him get play on the defensive side. And I wonder if there's going to be even a push for some of these guys to go work on the defense, because there is far greater value in that rugby tackling skill. And still, you have hand for ball handling, like, you can do some damage with that. But it's good to be able to see. It's interesting to see these guys kind of leaving at the peak of their powers. 24 is really young, and I don't know. It also speaks a little bit to the state of rugby, and especially rugby union. I know Australia has a really hard time with rugby union right now because rugby league is just absolutely boat racing them in terms of entertainment and population development and growth. But man, losing some of your best up and coming players, which according to even Eddie Jones in Australia is difficult enough to find because the domestic side is so messed up. I find it a little bit daunting to see where these guys are going to find their way and fit in. But I wish them the best of luck. Let me know what you guys think. Like these guys crossing over and really trying to see if they can, play NFL. Like, do you feel like that's good in terms of the state of rugby itself? Do you feel like there is maybe even a worry that you could end up losing some really top tier talent that could begin to restrict the game? But of course, there's only so many spots in the NFL. And there's only not so much money because the NFL's got money, even though they just got hit by a big old lawsuit. But there's only going to be so much space for these guys, including the ones that are coming out of college off of the NIL. And, now that money's big time in play, this could go anywhere with it. So let me know what you guys are thinking about it. Let me know how you guys feel with the situation. Let me know where you guys are standing on this one. All right, we got ads. We're gonna go back. We're gonna get back. We got some super interesting comments, super interesting thoughts that have been presented online that I think are really good for conversation, including a super heartwarming story by a friend of the show that I think absolutely needed to be highlighted without a doubt. So, guys, stay tuned. We'll be right back. It'll absolutely be worth it. This is Gift Time in Bailu with Rugby Swag. Be back.
Hey everybody, this is just the break train sending out a personal little video diary to all you people out there, where I am going to document me riding most of the way between Singapore and Tokyo for the 2019 Rugby World Cup.
I needed help, and it came from Louisiana.
We in Singapore, baby!
Gift from GiftTime Rugby USA is a extroverted tour de force. But what unites us is a hunger for adventure.
Off to KL, Kuala Lumpur.
Woo! Gift, where are we?
We're in Vietnam!
Morning, Vietnam! Mount Fuji, baby!
Our love of Asian rugby culture.
1, 2, 3, center!
Rugby is starting to develop here in Cambodia for women as well.
Valkyries, the mighty, mighty Valkyries!
We're out here, we're running out of energy, we're running out of money, and we're feeling isolated. And yet at that critical moment, friends, family, sometimes complete strangers come on board. Before you know it, we're back in the game.
Tokyo, here we come!
Malaysia, Thailand, Cambodia, Vietnam. Watch the full adventure at crugby.vhx.tv. That's C like SEE rugby.vhx.tv.